All right, over. We're just going to wait just a second. It looks like they're working on some technical issues with the headsets. Let me see if I can grab a quick word with them right now. All right, Coach Ulmer, thanks for meeting with us real quick before the game. Just a quick question for you is what's the mentality right now for your team? You guys in the second round of the playoffs. You got your first playoff win last year. What's the mentality right now?
I think it's good. We're focused. Our kids came out, got to the school today, and we went through our normal routine, pregame meal and all that, and they seem focused. We're not too up, and just kind of like I said last week, we don't get too high or too low, and I feel good about the way the kids are reacting right now.
How are you guys able to overcome some of the challenges with it being a holiday weekend? You guys had school off on Wednesday and obviously Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Well, we had to trust the maturity of our kids in a lot of ways. We brought them in Wednesday, Thursday morning and had practices at 9 o'clock, and every kid showed up ready to go on time, and then we brought them in a little bit earlier than normal today, a little earlier than we normally get out of school. But you have to rely on your kids to really want this, and if they want it, they'll be there, and they were. So feel good about it.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you, and good luck to the game. Hopefully, we'll talk to you at the end. Well, let's go back up to you.
Anthony, let me ask you, as you an ex-football player, I don't want to ask Steve because he actually failed golf in college.
It wasn't a failure. It was an incomplete. I'm going back to get my golf degree. I'm real close.
Yeah.
Back to you, Anthony.
Question, Vieira Hawks. How much trouble or how much do the players think and worry about the situation like in Vieira for the last 3 years, 3 different coaches, the turmoil, they lose an athletic director, they lose a lot of administration, they lose a the head football coach, a lot of different changes there, still the same football, but you realize every time a new head coach comes in, he comes in with a different game plan. How much does that really affect, and how much do you think that 0-7 season could be blamed on that?
I think that really has a lot to do with what's happened. Different coaching changes, different game plan, coaching strategies, coaching mindsets. It makes it really, really difficult as a team to get consistency, and that's what you need. What you see in a lot of the winning programs, especially like the Cocoa Tigers and your Merritt Island Mustangs and your Melbourne Bulldogs and your Palm Bay Pirates, is consistency. You see a lot of consistency from top to bottom. Their head coach at Palm Bay, Dan Burke, been there for 14, 15 years, and they go to the playoffs almost every year. It's consistency. It's the same mindset. When you come in as a freshman and you're all the way through the ranks as a senior, it's consistency. The same way. The same thing happens every day. Same thing happens every summer. This is what we do in June. This is what we do in July. And then when November comes for the playoffs, this is how we prepare. I've been in the situation where you have inconsistency. When Coach Ulmer left, and when Melbourne and Coach Ulmer had differences, they separated. Melbourne was looking for a new coach in January, February. We brought in a new guy. Then that guy was let go, and then Coach Wilson came in. For 6 months, pretty much after the season, we're all like, all right, well, what are we going to have? What are we going to get? Because as seniors, you're looking at, we want to make this last year the best year we have because you don't know if you're going to play football after that. So I think when Coach Wilson came in, and I think this is what Vieira needs, and I think their current coach can do this, they need consistency. They need their head coach to say, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to be about. But the strategy has to be what the kids can do, and I think that's something that I applaud Coach Wilson for that he's been doing ever since he's gotten to Melbourne, is that he knows what he has in his kids, and he doesn't try to do too much. He doesn't try to go outside the box. He does exactly what he knows his players can do, can accomplish when they get to in Friday nights.
Move on up now to Class 6A District 13. We spoke about the teams earlier. Heritage Panthers, the Palm Bay Pirates, the Bayside Bears, the Melbourne Bulldogs, and the O'Galley Commodores. And Steve, probably couldn't be one of the toughest, any tougher district in the state.
Yeah, at the outset, we looked at those 3 teams plus the Melbourne Bulldogs. We thought those were the 4 teams that were going to be battling for the top 2 spots. Well, we were close to right, 3 out of 4. The Bulldogs have played well at times. They just haven't quite been able to get over the hump. They lost to Palm Bay in their first district contest, lost to Bayside by a couple of touchdowns, and 2 losses in that district is pretty much going to do you in. But I think it's still wide open between those 3. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. South Brevard. Anthony, what do we call him?
I don't think we're allowed to say that.
Okay, anyway, Knock, it's over to you. You know these kids better than I do.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I mean, this is a district that I know really well, playing in it, and going to war with Bayside and going to war with Palm Bay. I didn't get a chance to play Heritage. Heritage was only being mentioned about when I graduated. But you're absolutely right. This season is just it is a 3-team race. Melbourne would need a lot of help. They really don't control their own fate. Right now, Bayside, Palm Bay, and Heritage are still in the driver's seats for their playoff runs, and I'll be honest, I like Heritage in this matchup. Heritage is a very good team. Coach Ulmer's got them playing well. You look at their schedule; they didn't play any. Their big criticism was they hadn't played anybody until they got to Bayside and until they played Bayside, Melbourne, and Palm Bay in a 3-week span. So I think Heritage has really proven themselves last week with getting a W over the Bayside Bears, who had just come off the Seabreeze win. So I think Heritage really is in their own driver's seat. If they can take care of business on Monday with the Bulldogs and then take care of business on Friday, which will be a short week for both teams, but I think Heritage might have the advantage over the Pirates in a short week.
Well, if you look at the stats across the paper and across all the websites and stuff like that, the Heritage Panthers, a lot like the Cocoa Tigers, they do not throw the ball a lot. They like to run the ball. And they've got a 3-headed monster in themselves. Clinton Maxim, 430 yards. Josh Gaines, 427 yards. And Khalil Owens, 345 yards. All three of those guys running the ball hard for Coach A.J. Ulmer and the Heritage Panthers.
Well, I think me and Jerry and I were discussing this earlier when he was on. Who is Palm Bay going to try and eliminate? And Moxham would be the early favorite right now for the Palm Bay defense to try and stop him. But all three of these guys really, like Folson, like Pratt, and like Lee and Coco, you're going to have a hard time because all three of these guys can really get used in different ways, different formations, find misdirection to use them and confuse your defense. Now, Coach Dan Burke, the experience factor and how he gets his kids prepared every week is a definite edge for Palm Bay defense. But I think with Coach Ulmer, who's got a lot of familiarity with Coach Dan Burke from his days when he was coaching at Melbourne, I think this matchup with them, I think Palm Bay's defense is going to have a tough time trying to find a way to stop all three of these guys. I don't think you can, and I don't think you can go by trying to eliminate one.
He copied me last week.
Well, I can promise
I caught him cheating last week. He looked over.
Yes, I got caught. Yes, I got a slap on the wrist later. I got too many strikes as it is. No, but this week, from my list, I got a surprise for you guys. I don't know. You made me right. I might be wrong on this one, but here are my top 5. Heritage has earned it. Heritage has earned it. They're my number 1 team in Brevard County. They've earned it.
Steve, take the microphone away from him. Thank you. Steve, go ahead and do your top 5.
All right, my top 5. No, here you go. All right, Knock. I want to hear this.
Yeah, this is like a comedy hour now. You realize that, don't you?
Well, we have to make it funny, right?
Too much ice cream from Dale's Ice Cream, buddy. That's what that is.
Yeah, you're right. Heritage is my number 1 team. I think they've earned it after their victory last week over Bayside. Cocoa, number 2, but obviously definitely very good. They're the top team in there. If you want to split it up, Cocoa number 1 in the north and Heritage number 1 in the south.
No, we're not doing north and south.
All right. Palm Bay number 3, Merritt Island number 4, and I'm going to say Bayside at number 5 just because of the level of competition that they've played. Go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I was just going to say, did they ever set you out in high school due to a concussion or anything like that?
Not that I ever admitted to.
Okay. Steve had a concussion when he played golf.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. All right, Steve, your top 5. We know Anthony's completely. He just fell off the cliff.
The reason why I say Heritage number 1, Cocoa.
No, now he's going to try to explain it.
Well, yeah, because I think Heritage, in my opinion, everyone's questioning them saying they haven't played anybody. You're absolutely right. They hadn't played anybody until they faced Bayside. And to be honest with you, I don't see a lot of the South Brevard teams really getting up here in the northern Brevard area and playing Cocoa. That used to be the case, but I haven't seen really anybody. Palm Bay doesn't play Cocoa this season. Really, none of the 6A teams play Cocoa this season. So just for this week, I think Heritage earned it by playing such a tough team in Bayside, and grounding out a victory that they earned. And with the Tigers playing Jones last week, like I said, the one thing that I liked was the Tigers defense played well last week. But I just think with Cocoa, I think this week Heritage earned it. Be number 1 in my list. Probably change next week, but Heritage, I think, in my opinion, has earned the number 1 spot just for this week.
So what you're telling me is if next week, if Monday, the Cocoa Tigers and the Heritage Panthers teed it up, that we would be again asking what happened to the Cocoa Tigers?
No, I don't think so. But I think we would get a game.
Well, yeah, we get, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this
I agree with
on the Friday Night Locker Room presented by the Florida Broadcasting Group. 12 minutes on the State Farm Insurance scoreboard. We're all set to go here. The Miami Central kicker gets set to kick the ball away, and here it is. It's going to go deep, and it will be into the end zone and go out the other side. The Palm Bay Pirates will start out 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Number 13, Emilio Nadelman. What a kick. I mean, putting that one in the end zone, you don't see a lot of high school kickers on a kickoff. Really put it at the back of the end zone. Strong leg by Nadelman.
See, if you watch Nadelman before the ball game, he was kicking from all over the field. He's got a leg. So the Palm Bay Pirates will start out 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Like I said, 12 minutes on the State Farm Insurance scoreboard. The first play for the Palm Bay Pirates here in round 3 of the playoffs. Quarterback underneath center, one man in the backfield, that's Barry. Palm Bay opens up with a pass, overthrows intended receiver Todd Parrish. Overthrows, and that will be 2nd and 10 now for the Palm Bay Pirates.
Great opening look by the Palm Bay Pirates. The Miami Central Rockets was looking for a run that time. Todd Parrish was open. Foul is probably a little quick play, threw it too fast. He had Parrish with a lot of room to run, but that's what Palm Bay's going to have to do, short passes to keep Miami Central safeties out of the box.
Felipe Alves now will come wide right, one receiver left. Quarterback underneath center, one man in the backfield. That's Leroy Berry. Berry gets the ball around the left side, breaks one tackle at the line of scrimmage. Will take it up to the 24-yard line. Palm Bay will be looking at 3rd down and long.
Good outside run by Berry, picking up a few yards. Had some run between the tackle and the tight end. Good block getting the defensive end out and blocking in on the outside linebacker. Pick up a few yards. Be 3rd down and manageable for the Pirates. If that looks like a 3rd and 6, could be a run or pass situation here.
Brian Fallis, quarterback, the junior for Palm Bay, will bring him out of the huddle to the line of scrimmage. We got one to the right, one man in the slot. Man goes in motion, coming to the near side. They give it to him. He's coming around the outside, hit hard, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard on the play. Good defense by the Rockets.
Number 6, Dietrich Nichols, the guy that made the tackle on Leroy Berry, got right past his offensive line, the offensive guard. The guard tried to cut him that time. Good hands to shove him down, get around, and get Berry in the backfield before Berry could get going. Great play by a defensive tackle, and Palm Bay's offensive line got to eliminate those kinds of penetration.
So the Palm Bay Pirates looking at 4th down and 5. They'll have to punt the ball away. Back for Miami will be Dalvin Cook on the far side, Roderick Carter on the near side. Here's the snap. It's a good one. High kick, end over end. It's going to hit at about the 46-yard line. Fair catch is right there. And Roderick Carter will fair catch it at the 46-yard line. And now we'll see the offense of the Miami Central Rockets for the first time. They'll be looking at 1st and 10 with good field position at their own 46.
As a fan, you like to see other teams that come in, and for Miami, these 2 running backs, Cook and Yerby, are just exciting players just to watch because they're great runners. They can move around. They got great vision. It'll be exciting to see if these guys can try and find ways around the Palm Bay defense.
Keith Reed will be the starting quarterback. He'll operate underneath center. 2 to the left, 1 to the right, one man in the backfield behind his quarterback. Cook goes in motion. They give it to Cook going around the outside, and he breaks the tackle at the 45 up to the 50 in Palm Bay territory, takes it all the way down to about the 34-yard line. Great run by Dalvin Cook, the big boy for the Rockets. That'll be a 1st down. One play, 1 first down.
Great play for the Miami Central Rockets offense. Get Cook in motion, getting to full speed on that jet sweep. Gets around the corner. Palm Bay just didn't have enough defenders there to get him.
2 receivers to the left this time, 2 to the right, 1 man in the back, 2 men in the backfield behind the quarterback. Well, operating out a shotgun is way up high, and he's going to be caught from behind. Keith Reed, the quarterback. High snap from the snapper as Keith Reed was set up in the shotgun position, and the Rockets will lose a few yards on the play. It will be 3rd down now, or 2nd down and about 13.
Number 4 for the Pirates, Hilton Hill, was a huge defensive playmaker last week against Heritage. He's already shown he's going to be a defensive playmaker tonight. Great read by the linebacker. He's going to have to force more pressure against this strong offense for Miami Central.
Twin receivers left and right. Number 22, Joseph Yearby in the backfield behind his quarterback. Keith Reed now will back up beside Yearby in the shotgun position. Will have a flag throw, and it probably be against. It's going to be a timeout call by Miami Central. Didn't seem like they were able to get on the right page.
You know, it looked like there was miscommunication between the quarterback and the offensive coordinator. They just didn't get the right play in, get the right formation that they wanted. They had to call a timeout. It's a little early to burn a timeout. You really don't want to burn one this early in the first quarter and the first drive, but it saves you 5 yards on that penalty. But I would expect them to get back and ready in formation in the next play.
And this portion of the Friday Night Locker Room is brought to you in part by Knutson Brain Spine Injury Law Office. They provide representation for members of the public who have suffered head trauma or a brain or spinal cord injury. Knutson Brain Spine Injury Law Office is located in Rockledge at 830 Executive Lane, Suite 140. The phone number for Jim Knutson, 632-2722.
This portion of the Mike Griffin Nissan Cadillac Game of the Week is brought to you by Champions Honda, located at 562 West King Street in Cocoa. An authorized dealership for Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Yamaha, Champions Honda, 636-4988, or championshonda.com.
Keith Reed now gives it to the man underneath it. Hit at the line of scrimmage and brought down. Running the ball that time is Joseph Yearby. He's knocked down, and they'll lose a yard on the play.
Good inside pressure there. What we're seeing from Palm Bay on their defensive scheme so far is to bring their outside linebacker, bring him in that Miami Central doesn't see coming. He'll makes a play on the running back. Yearby doesn't allow him to get going. Continue to look for linebackers or cornerbacks to come from the outside and blitz those gaps. That way Yearby has nowhere to run on the inside.
Brown and Jones wide left on the right side. Dalvin Cook, one man in the backfield. Keith Reed takes the snap, has to keep it. He's going to run right up the middle, gets by Wilfred Hill. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, knocked down as a second effort. Will get him about a yard on the play. The Pirates will be looking at third down and long.
And these are the key situations, third down and long, that you want to put this offense in. You know, they're not going to want to run it, even though they could. With Yearby picking up 9 yards, wouldn't be that difficult on a run play for this team with the speed that they have. But I like Reed's probably going to go to the air, look for an easy slant route or an out route from the offense of Miami Central.
Reed from the shotgun, standing at the midfield stripe. He's going to throw. 3 steps back, lets it go. He's going to throw it out of bounds. Intended receiver over his head, and it will be fourth down and 10 for the Rockets. They'll have to punt the ball back to the Palm Bay Pirates.
Like I said, an out route from cornerback Keith Reed, trying to put the football, making sure that the Palm Bay defender couldn't get to it. He put it out of bounds, a smart play, 14-0, no reason to jeopardize it with a turnover. Reed already showing he can make some smart decisions with the football when it comes to passing it for the Miami Central Rockets.
Back for the Palm Bay Pirates will be Josh Best on the near side. Khalid Alvis on the far side. High snap. Emilio will get it. It will go to Best on the near side. It will roll out of bounds before he has an opportunity to get to it. The official coming up, 10-15, and it will be at the 20-yard line. Again, the Palm Bay Pirates, fourth time, will start out first and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Over at the end of the first quarter, we're going to have a special guest, so don't go away.
Well, I think Coach Burke, as he looked at the tape this week, getting ready for this team, he probably thought in his back of his head, you know what, we're going to have to make long drives or get really good field position and force them to go back because this team, the Miami Central Rockets, has great kickers that can put the ball deep in Palm Bay, and Palm Bay has to dig out of a hole.
Dallas under center, one receiver to the left. We're going to have everybody moving before the ball is snapped. Everybody on the Palm Bay side moved except the snapper. It'll be a false snap against the Palm Bay Pirates. They'll back it up 5 yards. They'll be looking at first down at 15. The ball now sitting at the 14-yard line of the Palm Bay Pirates.
And we got some score updates for you. Yulee's and Bowles. Bowles is up 14-7 over Yulee in the first quarter. Booker T. Washington and Cocoa. Booker T. Washington is up in the first quarter, 7-0, and Naples is up over Mainland, 6-0.
Steve, we talk about it so often throughout the course of the year. We see teams like Palm Bay, we see teams like Cocoa High School, Rockledge, Astronaut, the teams that are noted around the county for speed. But I don't know that we've seen speed like we've seen tonight, not out of the Miami Central Rockets.
No, I mean, Yerby and Cook and then Reed at the quarterback position, these guys can really fly, and Yerby just looks really good to me. I mean, one of the best running backs, I think, that I've seen in the last couple of years. Just a lot of speed, a lot of elusiveness. He's got quick feet, and, at one point in the play, we saw him hurdle a Palm Bay defender, so this guy's got great vision, and as a running back, he's definitely earning definite recruiting from Florida State. I think they got a good one coming up.
The Pirates find themselves down by a score of 24-2 at halftime. We talked at the outset how important it was to take care of the football. You have to do the little things consistently throughout the course of the game. Palm Bay turned the ball over early in the football game. It led directly to 7 points, and they've never really regrouped from that yet. Still, second half to be played, but they're down by 22 points to a good football team.
Well, besides the one mistake that they made, Brian Fowles throwing an interception, just making an overthrown pass, they played pretty good football. They played good enough just to, to get through. They're just not being able to put points on the scoreboard, and that's key right now because every drive that Miami Central has, they're putting points on the scoreboard. And Palm Bay's offense, they just haven't been able to keep the drives going because they've had to start at their own 20-yard line. I would look in the second half for Coach Dan Burke. He's going to have to find something. Brian Fowles and him are going to have to hook up and find out what can we expose in the Miami Central Rockets defense because they got a lot of speed. It's going to have to be through the air, though.
What adjustments do you make against one of the fastest teams in the state of Florida? I'm going to turn it over to our defensive expert, Anthony Nachreiner. Nach, you're at halftime. You're listening to your coach. You're playing one of the fastest offenses in the state of Florida. What do you do as a defense to slow them down?
Well, right now with your running backs that Miami Central has, you got to bring a lot of pressure, even on the running down. You got to bring a couple of linebackers. You got to bring outside pressure. You got to force everything to the inside. And your defensive line has to get penetration. And the offensive line, you cannot allow the Miami Central offensive line to push you backwards. So it really depends upon the front 7, front 8 of the Palm Bay Pirates right now to slow down these running backs and force, as much as I hate to say it, force Miami Central to try and throw the football. Because right now, if you can eliminate the run game, you eliminate a huge offensive chunk of what Miami Central can do. And right now, Palm Bay has to do that with inside linebacker pressure, cornerbacks pinching in on the inside runs, and making sure that none of these playmakers get to the outside of the Palm Bay defense.